What up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of RobHunterTV. It has been a minute. I have sent my son off to school. We have battled off a couple of sicknesses, but I am back. I appreciate you guys for checking in as usual. Today, we have a jam-packed show. Cardi B is pregnant again, number 4. Congratulations to her. Damon Dash made his triumphant return to the Breakfast Club last week. And of course, I give my free Shedeur Sanders update. So Cardi B, if y'all don't know, Cardi B had a couple of announcements that she just recently made. The first one was that she is pregnant with child number 4.
I'm having a baby with my boyfriend, Stefon Diggs.
Now, unfortunately, she's still married. She's been trying to get a divorce, but Offset say he won't. If you want a house and the taxes paid for. I ain't got no dog in the fight, but that seemed like a whole lot. You want house and taxes paid? Hey, if you could pull that off, hey, a big salute to you. But yeah, so Cardi B is pregnant by her new, I don't know, boyfriend. His name is Stefon Diggs. Now, Stefon Diggs had a bit of an infamous reputation in the NFL. For those of y'all that don't know, check out this clip.
Davin, what guy on the team would you least like to date your sister?
What the hell? Diggs.
Stefon Diggs. Diggs is the guy.
Least I should date my sister, Diggs. 100%.
Why Diggs?
Man. No.
And if that's your bounce back, like if you knew he had that reputation and you decided that was your bounce back guy, hey, more power to you. I'm a big fan of Cardi B, so either way it go, I'm with it. And the pregnancy was pretty much a foregone conclusion once you seen that date in the castle.
Why this man got to stay in a castle? Look at this. Look at this. This is a real fucking castle. Hold up in this bitch. Look at that. There's real crocodiles in there. He said, bitch, you want castle, bitch? I'll give you all the castle, bitch. Like, I can't believe we staying in some place like this. This man got me in a castle. I'm talking a real castle.
Hey, the pregnancy was pretty much a foregone conclusion. When you smash in the castle, it ain't no pulling out. I mean, that's come standard in every single castle, in every smash that has happened since the history of all castles. No man has ever pulled out. That's just how smashing in castle works. I mean, that's common knowledge. Everybody know that. As soon as you pull up to the castle, ain't no pulling out. I don't even think pulling out was even invented back when castles first started, and they just kept it going. Everybody know when they see you walk in, from the maids to the chefs to the gardeners to the horses and the carriage, the birds and the bees. Hey, that's where the birds and the bees was invented. Now, as fate would have it though, there's been a bit of question of additional paternity as it relates to Mr. Stefon Diggs. Young lady by the name of, I believe it's Lord, hold on, let me look. Lord Giselle, okay? Sound like a woman you want to bring home to mama. Lord Giselle is saying that Stefon Diggs, her baby daddy too, of they new 5-month-old, or they new baby. So I don't think they still together, but maybe Stefon Diggs, I wonder if Stefon took her to that same castle, or maybe it was White Castle. At any rate, I hope they get it all worked out because there's children here at stake. And shout out to Stefon for, keeping it El Natural when it came to the drillage. One thing you could say, he's consistent. So, Nick Cannon, you better watch out. You may have somebody out there coming for your title. I don't know if y'all got a chance to see it, but Damon Dash was on the Breakfast Club last week. And here are some of the highlights or lowlights.
I don't think you're a proper representation of the masculine black man. I'd rather get my ass whipped than run. But you're proud that you ran.
Yeah.
And it ain't no disrespect, but I kind of think you're gay. You just act a little gay.
You got a problem with gay people?
Not at all. So you said that some guys was throwing you kisses because they liked your Paul's butt and you went back. That's gay.
Black men can't be gay?
Black men that are gay should say they're gay.
Well, I'm not gay.
You are. I could punch you right in your face like a grown man. I won't. And you won't do shit. What I'm saying is when you interrupt me and you say certain things, where I'm from, the masculine man will fuck you up.
One of the key takeaways that I noticed on there was their preoccupation with whether or not he was broke and his bankruptcy and things of that nature. I didn't quite understand it. One of the young ladies wanted to ask, like, she said she had all these questions to get to, but there was seemingly, and she probably didn't get to all of them, but all questions having to deal with his finances or whatever. And one of the questions was whether or not his daughter got evicted. And I thought to myself, as he was answering the questions, I thought that this is such an embarrassing question for all of them. Because you as a journalist, why would you want to know whether or not his daughter got evicted? That's a very gossipy, lipstick alley type of question, particularly with someone with the legendary status of a Damon Dash. Because after you get the answer, okay, what if his daughter did get evicted? Then what? Turns out she didn't get evicted, but then what? Like, after he answers the question, where do you go with the interview after that? Well, how come whether or not he's filed bankruptcy or whether or not he has $1 million or whatever the case may be, how come it seemingly was just so preoccupied with calling him broke?
You can't tell me I don't think you lying. I just think you broke. All right, cool. I just think you're gay. All my children and all my family's taken care of. How am I broke?
And I understand that they have a history. I'm well aware of their history. I saw the last interview, but I think that the onus to help guide that interview is up to the interviewees, right? It's a legendary cast. This is a legendary show by the Breakfast Club's opportunity to have, some really great moments. And it became seemingly sometimes playful.
Confident I'm not talking to you no more, man.
Sometimes adversarial.
You're a cancer for black people because you're teaching them the wrong values.
And I think that when you have someone like a Damon Dash on, there's so much. You have a certified genius literally sitting across from you. This is a man who has built multiple 9-figure companies, from Rachel Roy to Roc-A-Fella Records to Roc-A-Wear, and helped foster the careers of 2 billionaire artists in Jay-Z and Kanye West. With him and Jay-Z and Biggs, they built that from the ground up. And Damon Dash was the brains behind all the moves that they made in the early going. When you have somebody that's not just a hip hop legend, but a music legend, you can't mention the genre of hip hop. There's a couple of names out there that you cannot mention hip hop music and not mention Rocafella Records and Damon Dash. And when you have someone with that status sitting across from you, there's so much more that you could talk to them about rather than if they file bankruptcy or not. And I understand interviewing Dame Dash sometimes may not be the easiest thing to do. But when you asking a man about his financial status and he's got all these other projects going on, I could totally understand the frustration.
Y'all know I ran up in the jail, a kid's jail, with Principal McGrone, with Black Panthers, senators. I got locked in the jail, but I changed things. But no one writes about it.
We feel like because one another is black, we had this he put his pants on the same way I do type of energy when it comes to that, when that's not the case. A legend is a legend is a legend, and we should treat our legends as such.
You ever heard Ronald Reagan say, if you're explaining, you're losing? You ever heard that saying? If you're explaining, you're losing. You explain a lot.
You asked me a question. So you asked me a question, and then when I explain,
Damon Dash walking around the streets, you shouldn't be coming up to him asking him about his financial status or calling him Debt Dash or any of those things.
You should be objective on the radio.
You need to get paid to do something. Then you wouldn't be in debt. Debt Dash. That's his new name. You should start a new label called Debt Jam.
Like that should not take place. And you could see in all truthfulness, should he been calling Charlamagne, a girl and all that? Maybe not. But that's how he handles when he feels like he's being disrespected. And truth be told, if the cameras ain't on and we just out somewhere, those type of responses are pretty regular. Because one thing he was correct on, other men should not talk about other men's money like that. Like that's just not something we do. We don't talk about, oh, you're broke.
I don't think you lying. I just think you broke.
In men's conversation, normally what another man has as far as money is concerned is not a topic of discussion that takes up a whole lot of time. With the audience that the Breakfast Club has, aspiring entertainment executives and artists, you can ask him what lessons that he's learned, what mistakes that he's made, what would he do over, what artists got away from him. All of these different kinds of questions that you could have asked him and still gotten the bump that you wanted to get from the interview, but they seemingly were just fixated on his money and the bankruptcy. If you're not from the entrepreneurial world, like a bankruptcy is not a death sentence like how you think it is, especially for my white brethren. I mean, we've seen how far they could go filing bankruptcy multiple times. And basically, a bankruptcy for them is the equivalent of an overdraft fee. But anyway, I digress. I thought there was an interesting observation that I think kind of got glossed over in the interview, and it was when Dame said that to Charlamagne that out of all the years he's heard the show, but listened to the show, he's never heard him say one bad thing about Jay-Z. And not that you have to say anything about Jay-Z, bad about Jay-Z. I'm a fan of Jay-Z. But it begs the question, how come Dame is the only one who is asked about Jay-Z, right? In the interviews that Jay-Z has done since he has split from Roc-A-Fella Records, since him and Dame split, I've never heard him go on record and talk about what happened between him and Damon Dash. I've never heard that. So either one or two things are happening. either the interviewer is just scared to ask, because it ain't like we don't want to know. The breakup of Roc-A-Fella was one of the most notable events in hip-hop history. Or either the second thing is there's conditions that he'll do the interview. But either way, it makes it look like Dame is the only one talking about Jay-Z, when in actuality, Dame is the only one being asked about Jay-Z. And shout out to Dame for being a real one for answering the question, because he could have conditions too. He could be like, yo, I'm gonna do the interview, but don't ask me anything about Jay-Z. But he doesn't do that. Dame don't dodge no questions. Dame answers the question, and so he a real one for that. But I think that in the takeaway that I have from the Breakfast Club interview is that I feel like we should be more respectful of our legends. And I know that Dame, he's so charismatic, and I know that we laugh and we joke with some of the Dame-isms and all the pauses and he's a very funny dude, very witty guy. But the reality is that when you calling somebody broke, to me, that's not how our legends should be treated, whether it be music or otherwise. Damon Dash is a pioneer of urban culture, a pioneer of pop culture, and I think he should have been treated as such, and I don't think he was. Anyway, as promised, my Shedeur Sanders update. If you haven't heard, the Cleveland Browns are off to terrible ass start. Cleveland Browns are 1-2. They have one of the worst offenses in the league, predictably. Joe Flacco, let me look it up. Let me look at old Joe Flacco's numbers right fast. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Cleveland. All right, so Joe Flacco on the season. Okay, so Joe Flacco on the season is averaging 210 yards a game. He's thrown 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Now, if y'all remember correctly, I thought Kevin Stefanski said taking care of the football is the most important thing. That's what he said. But I guess apparently maybe that's just for maybe that's just for Shedeur Sanders. I don't know. Apparently Joe Flacco can throw twice as many picks as touchdowns and still keep his job. Well, one of the biggest problem is that one, and that two is that they won the last game. Okay, and Stefanski came out today and said, hey, we're not making no quarterback change. But I blame the defense. The defense is number 1 in the league right now in yards per game giving up a historically good, a little bit over 200 yards a game. Okay, so if you defense, hey, Myles Garrett and all those guys, hey, y'all want to court, y'all need to stop playing such good defense, getting all these turnovers and stuff. Because if you coming in today and you play defense and you hear that there's the offense, which is putrid. Offense is one of the worst in the league. Like, yeah, we ain't making no changes. I'm looking at them like, hey, y'all need to give us some more money. Because in order for y'all to get the change that y'all seek, y'all can't be making these games so competitive. Because it makes it look like, see, so they got blown out by the Ravens, and they lost against the Steelers by 1 point, and they just won this game, and they hadn't scored no points the whole game against Green Bay. None. In the last 3 minutes, scored 13 and 1 because some turnovers, a block kick, and a made kick as time expired, and they won the game. So it feels a little bit different, even though Joe Flacco played like Joe Flacco. So this is terrible news for the football universe and all of us that enjoy good quarterback play. We just got to wait that much longer for Shedeur Sanders. And yes, I know he's technically third string, but Dillon Gabriel going to get out there. He going to look like how Dillon Gabriel has been looking. Like, the further we get away from how they performed in training camp and in the games, for some reason we just be like, oh yeah, Dillon Gabriel was the worst quarterback throughout training camp and preseason. Shedeur Sanders was the best. They both had one good preseason game and one not so good preseason game. Shedeur Sanders didn't turn the ball over. He had the least amount of interceptions in training camp and was the best quarterback. I just want to make sure I recontextualize that Shedeur Sanders was the best quarterback and has been the best quarterback since the moment he arrived in Cleveland. Okay, I know that last game is what stuck in folks' mind, but Shedeur Sanders, since he's got there, has been the best quarterback. So I have no reason to believe that all of a sudden, because of one preseason game where Dillon Gabriel performed okay, that all of a sudden he gonna get out there and start looking like how he was looking at Oregon. No, I need them to go ahead and replace Joe Flacco with Dillon Gabriel so they can go ahead and start him them 4-5 games and he can stick up the whole entire field and turn this thing over to Shedeur Sanders. Okay, really, if y'all really want to know what they really should do, Falcons should trade for Shedeur Sanders. If we really do, okay, look, this is what the Falcons should do. This is y'all go ahead and let me get this off. The Falcons should trade Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins and whatever legacy Mike Vick had, good, minus the dog fighting, we send all that over to Cleveland and a first round pick. Y'all give us back Shedeur Sanders. Hey, Arthur Blank, you really want to set the city on fire? You really want to set the city on fire? Trade Penix, Kirk Cousins, Michael Vick legacy, minus the dog fighting, plus the first round pick, and if they want, we'll throw in T.I. All that could go to Cleveland. Bring us Shedeur. Okay? That's just for me. If you really want to set this motherfucker off the way it need to be, that's what we need to do. So in review, Cleveland is right where we thought they'd be. Maybe one game better. They probably should be 0-3, but they're not. They'll be 1-4 come next week though. They will be 1-4 after they play Detroit. And hopefully we can get the quarterback changed in. Quarterback. And you know what's odd? Just real quick, one last point about Cleveland is that Cleveland has a Super Bowl winning defense. But they are so stuck on just trying to be right instead of getting it right that they're willing to just waste an entire season. Because what you gotta know right now, if you're Stefanski, if you're any of those guys in Cleveland, around the whole football universe, know Joe Flacco is not leading you to a Super Bowl. And if you're one of those receivers, you got to be like at some point, don't you stop running the routes as hard? Like week 1, week 2, week 3, you probably out there, in and out of cuts, practicing hard. Okay, but after a while, you just be like, man, I don't know what the fuck I'm running this hard for. It ain't like I'm gonna get the ball consistently anyway, because they have a Super Bowl defense. The Cleveland Browns, okay, here's what you guarantee. You guarantee you're not gonna make the playoffs. You're not gonna win a Super Bowl if you continue with Flacco. If you're a Cleveland Brown fan, how dejected do you feel right now? The way that they played those 2 out of 3 games, the way that they played against Burrow, and the way that they shut down Jordan Love, who looked like a league MVP up until they ran into Cleveland, it should inspire you to think about what would happen if we could actually throw the ball vertically. What would happen if we had just a marginally good passing game? You have a first round talent. You had everybody's draft board leading up to that night. You have arguably the #1 overall draft pick in Shedeur Sanders. Okay, until the NFL inserted its subterfuge, okay, and decided to sabotage this man's at least his rookie season. Okay, you got him right there. Why not provide some juice to that franchise? Because if I'm in that locker room and you tell me Flacco is starting again week 4 after that win, I might just goddamn not show up to the game. You want to talk about the way to lose the locker room and lose the fan base, is to have that type of talent, that type of stardom sitting on your bench, and week 4 you come out and you go, we're gonna do the same thing again. Kevin Stefanski, offensive genius, you're in charge of fixing the offense, and you go, you know what, we just gonna run it back again week 4 against one of the best teams in the league in Detroit. See how that works out for us. Okay, if y'all don't want Shedeur, if y'all don't want to put Shedeur back there, just open the competition up. Be like, Shedeur, you can't participate in the quarterback competition, but we're gonna open it up to the city. Okay, we're gonna have Bone Thugs come out. They could try for quarterback. The kicker, he could try out. Okay, Myles Garrett, if you want to throw a couple, see how you do, you could come out there. Hey, LeBron, you used to play football in high school. If you want to try out for quarterback, come on with it. If you so hell bent, okay, on trying to buck break Shedeur from all his confidence and all of whatever you think he got that's messed up for the league, okay, then open up the competition to the city. You know, to the Donovan Mitchell, okay, Darius Garland. You could play for the Cavs and you could play for the Browns. Anyway, yeah, I appreciate y'all joining me once again for the show. Sorry for the delay, but we are back, and I appreciate your time. If you like my show, if you like what you hear, even if you don't like it, tell a friend, subscribe, share, comment, like, subscribe, share, comment. It helps the show, it helps me grow, and hey, that's why I'm here. So if you like this, man, please, again, tell a friend, tell somebody. This is Rob Hunter. I love y'all, and I'll be back real soon. Peace.